Hey, Spikers Dropping or Deep Muscle Alliance, it's me, Spikers 1000 here. Coming to show you in this video. I am taking the 8 characters that showed up in Spider-Man Far From No Way Home and turning them into dragons. I did Dr. Octopus, Electro, then, if I remember correctly, the third one was, it was the Lizard, then Green Goblin, then Sandman, and I did the three, versions of Spider-Man. No, Tobey Maguire, the Amazing Spider-Man, if I remember correctly, that one had biological webbing, or was it? No, it was Tobey Maguire who had the biological webbing, and then Spider-Man from the MCU, Tom Holland. So without further ado, let's roll intro and let's get into this video, and let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. About frickin' time. Sorry. These are dragons that I've been investigating for a while. The first five I want to say are, well, dragons that usually hunt them, with the exception of one. And the first one I'm going over, and some of them can be redeemed, like the first one, known as the Long Octo-Armed Drake, or the Octo-Armed Drake because of the 8 limbs, but it's also known as the arm. It's the arms because each of the 4 longer limbs are really long and strong. They are known as the Octo because they resemble that of an octopus. It's also a very, very clever creature. They are known to inhabit mountains a good chunk of the time because, well, mountains near oceans, because they are, if you were to get rid of their body, they are very fat dragons, but do not let that size underestimate them, because as they get older, their tentacles grow longer, and eventually they grow claws, which are really, really durable. And matter of factly, the tentacles are actually that of a tungsten titanium alloy in strength. They are very, very strong stuff. And when I say it, I mean they are strong. And they are, well, a green color. It's more of a metallic green, but the entire creature is green, except for the teeth and eyes. The head is a little bigger. It's more of a grayish green, closer to that of the tentacles, because, funny enough, it's actually a very thicker skull, because you need a thick skull to actually protect how big of a brain this thing has. It's clever to the fact that it's known that this one time I was tracking it, and I thought it couldn't sense me, but after a few miles of me tracking it, it legitimately jumped out of the way into some trees, and then I saw a few rocks and trees and a few other limbs and things throw at me. Matter of fact, the thing even threw a small drake at me, which then shot a web down and charged directly at it. And that will be one of the first dragons I'm going to be talking about. Well, one of the last 3. The overall appearance of it is a very chubby dragon with limbs that is known to swim in the ocean quite often, but it's also a very big nuisance. And they're all known to hunt the last 3 dragons for no real reason, but sometimes these dragons would eventually, when they get older, for like they live to be around 800,000 years. So around their I want to say they start hunting them right around 1,000 years, and they stop hunting them and actually become quite acquaintance with some other ones. Or with around, if I remember correctly, My research notes are all over the place. It's hard, but they always go from somewhere along the lines of 150 to 200,000 years. And that's when they start actually helping the dragons. I don't really know how this happens, but let's just get to the next one. This next one is a fairly weird dragon. It has little black colorations, like a black person's. It's lighter on the wings, but on the waist and head, and around the tail, it is a little it's a little darker, but it's like a little beard or jaw area. It's actually darker there, but this dragon is known as the electrical formed dragon, or the electric dragon for short. They are known to inhabit pretty much any area. They are known to attack power grids quite often because they are energy in a dragon form. They also, they don't really need the energy to survive, but they more or less, it's the only way they can really get food and actual nutrients. I don't know how, but they use the energy and transfer it into some proteins and stuff like that. They also turn into pure energy. It's a quite interesting thing. They are very adept with plasma magic, which is a upgraded, more powerful version of fire magic, which is in itself very powerful. And plasma magic is really just super plasma, for the record. It's something like fire, just superheated gas. These dragons also can live to be around 200,000 years, because the amount of energy they know, because when they die, they usually release a very large amount of energy. When I say very large, I mean it can power a good-sized city for around 1,000,000 years. So yeah, a really long time. And they have like a little electrical bolts for 4 of them on the horns, and one at the end of the tail is like a little wand. It's weird shaped, but they're all turquoise colored. Their neck, the top of their head, and they also have like a little triangle-like shape separating their 2 eyes, which are also turquoise colored. Most of them is turquoise. Matter of factly, their claws are dark turquoise, which matches the not really matches, but it's somewhere in between their eye color and their body color, somewhere in between there. But just for the show, don't challenge one of these things into a fight with if you are made with electrical powers, because it will absorb it and fire it directly back at you and fry it to a crisp, no matter how powerful you are, unless you are, strong enough to take a few million volts to the face and come out unscathed. Well, let's just get to the next one. And before we do, yes, they do eat actual creatures. They are known to use the electricity to fry them to a crisp. Now let's get to the next one. This third one is a pretty interesting one. It's known as the Colossal Ferocious Lizard Drake, or Colossal Lizard Drake. Now, the only reason why, because of that, is because of the fact that it literally is pretty much if someone used if someone used gigantfication magic, a gigantfication spell on a lizard. That's what pretty much these things are, but matter of factly, they are more closely related to a traditional drake and a Komodo dragon. One second. Yeah, sorry. They have something that resembles a mohawk on their head, and their eyes are white with a black slit for a iris. Their front claws are webbed, where their back claws aren't. They have 3 claws in the front and 4 in the back. Yeah, that's right. And they have spikes running along their tail. They are dark green to a light green color, and their jaw, claws, and, well, lower jaw, that is, and spikes are all a darker shade of green. They're known to inhabit very, very different places. Sorry. No, sorry. A little tired. I'm doing research over these things for who knows how long. And they are also quite noted to be able to climb walls like a gecko. But the environment they're mostly found in is that of a mountainous area with with a little forest in that area. Sorry. That's annoying. They are, for their lifespan, they can live to be around, if I remember correctly, now it's very hard to tell a good lifespan on these things, because it can range from anywhere to 100,000 years to around 1,000,000 years, because of the fact their healing powers are really, really, really good. They can regenerate any limb, that's including a heart, except for the brain, within a few minutes. They have a very lower chance of healing from you removing their heart, because of the fact, it's a heart. The only way to really kill them that way is if you remove the entire heart, not leaving a single sliver of the full heart remaining. They can't they can't regrow from the head. They're also intelligent creatures. They have the ability to cast a magic spell that can turn someone into a humanoid lizard thing. These are trying to spread around and create more. It's a giant nuisance, but only a few of them are able to do this. Matter of factly, if you are actually able to tame it correctly and train it correctly, you can actually get someone that can do the direct opposite and cure them. So, yeah, let's get to the next one. This next one is something more of a chaotic and neutral thing, with a variation to chaotic evil, to chaotic good. It's just overall a weird creature. It's known as the Green Night Terror Wyvern, or the Green Night Terror, Sky Terror, Green Sky Terror Wyvern, or Green Sky Terror for short. The reason why is because, well, just like the last one, it's nearly fully green, with the exception of its wings being a darker shade of green on the outside because for a protective shell, which is weirdly enough, it's near biological metal levels, and that of the purple on the wings. It's more of a lighter purple, close to a violet. It's hard to tell. That's also on their deviation on their tail. They don't, weirdly enough, they don't have the ability to shoot quills or anything from their tail. Or poison barbs. They're matter of factly able to shoot fire. Little balls that look like pumpkins, weirdly enough. And the laugh these things get off, it's freaky. That's about 90% of the time. Well, closer to 85%. 85 to 90% of the time. The remaining 15 to 10% of the time, they're matter of factly creatures that try to help and fix the problems they make. And weirdly enough, people have found that there are two personalities in these dragons. And turns out these dragons have been around longer than my dad's been in charge. He said that the overseer before him was a maniac, finding green creatures that he saw fit to, well, be just giant pains in the butts, but for some reason he couldn't really create creatures or tamper with demos, which were actually created by the All-Seer of this universe, of this multiverse. Sorry. This guy, he wasn't really happy. So yeah, I have a weird feeling. I remember the prophecy my from my what was it my great, I can't remember correctly, my grandfather, or my great-grandfather, he left it, something saying about, Lufercio, can't quite remember, don't really know who that guy is, but I have a feeling I would come across that over here sometime along in the future with my friends. Just to put it lightly, it's not going pretty, but that's just something for this dragon. He's also a conniving little jerk. That's what these dragons are in a nutshell. They are very intelligent and have the ability to use different types of magic in general, but they are some of the most nuisance ones for the Arachnid 3 of dragons I've been able to find. The red and blue Arachnid 3 is what I call them. So let's get to the last one of these ones that usually try to help them or hunt them down. Let's get to the last one of them. Sorry, but this is the last one of them, like I already said. These are known to be dwelling in desert for a good chunk of time, but also beaches, pretty much anywhere with sand. None of the shifting sandy drake, or the sandy drake, it is sometimes mistaken for vanilla drake. Yeah, there are some foods that are based off of, there are some dragons based off of food around here. Their teeth are made of rocks, actually, hence their teeth of other dragons, due to the fact that they are broken, different sizes. But they have limestone hard claws and spikes on their head and along their back. They also have the ability to weirdly absorb sand and grow in size. Matter of fact, they can take over an good chunk of an entire desert if they feel like it. And they also have lighter sandstone, not limestone. They also have lighter sandstone rocks on their front shoulders. It's pretty durable stuff. And if you think you can kill one, have fun. You have to burn the thing and turn it to glass and then shatter it. Only then, when all the glass shards are disappear, would you find underneath the sand, you would find there, rarely enough, a core. But that's very rare. You would usually find it in the remains of the dragon. The core is what more or less is what the soul is housed in. It's weirdly one of the few types of dragons that are like this. It's a quite weird phenomenon, and you can actually tell some difference because it has like little lines going across its body, which segment the sand off in different areas. Some patches are a little darker than others, and some a little lighter than others. But they have a green eye. They have green eyes, and they are, weirdly enough, omnivores. They sometimes do eat other dragons, but they're usually like scavengers. They mostly go for things that are high in magic, hence the reason why they're omnivores. I can't really tell you how on earth these things even exist. My father says that he made them using the ability, using a unique core called a shifting core. It's a core that's very hard to make. I've got an energy layout like it, but it's a really, really hard thing to make. I'm thinking I might save this one for a dragon, for a future dragon, along with a few other cores I've made, which are going to be helpful when making something powerful. Well, anyways, let's get to the next one. Well, on to the last three. Yeah, remember that dragon I told y'all about that was thrown at me by a, octo-armed drake? The first of the blue and red Arachnid 3. It's known as the Amazing Arachnid Spider Drake, or the Amazing Spider Drake, because of the fact it has 8 bloody limbs. Yeah, I might be saying the tail counts as a limb, and the head counts as a limb, where in reality I only count the amount of legs each thing has. And trust me, that thing ain't really pretty. Well, like I was saying, the dragon is, like I was saying, sorry again, I don't count tails or heads as limbs. The tail is really just an extension of the spine. Yes, it can be used as a limb, but it's more of an independent body part of something like a spine. Anyways, I usually count like arms and legs as actual limbs. But yeah, hence, and this thing has 8 bloody legs. Hence the name part of the arachnid bit of it. It has 8 eyes as well, 4 on each side. And weirdly enough, it doesn't have many claws on each hand. Matter of fact, it only has 1, which are pretty sharp. But the arachnid, the blue, red and blue arachnid 3 dragons do all have claws on like little appendages. This thing has 4 little appendages on its chest, which it can actually use to defend off against something. And funny enough, it can actually shoot webbing from said claws. You can shoot it from any body part, really. Mostly its tail, which is actually something that resembles a spider's bottom, which it's able to spill silk out of. It's most noticeably able to climb walls, which is actually makes sense because the thing is this thing has the energy layer of a spider. I really, really hate spiders, but since these are dragons, I'm kind of okay with them. But if one of these things turn evil, I'm eradicating it off the face of the earth. I don't care how many people say that I shouldn't. I don't give a flying freak. I hate bloody spiders. Yeah. So, because, yeah, I know. I'm the son of an overseer who has hundreds of different types of powers and the ability to create life itself. But I hate spiders because I can't really, understand them. They are really 8 legs, hairy, no hair, scaly. There's giant pains in the butt, really. Also because of the nasty venom they have. Funny enough, these things don't really have venom all that often. It's a very rare trait some of them have. But let's get to the next one. This next one is actually a wyvern version of them all. It's known as the biological webbing spider wyvern. Funny enough, this one is actually the only thing that has biological webbing. The last one and the third one all have something I refer to as magical webbing. Pretty much the webbing is created via magic. Hence the reason why sometimes they stop spewing magic, shooting silk out at times. But this thing has a nearly endless stream of silk. It also has 6 little arms, 3 on each wing. Yeah, and add that to the fact it has 2 back legs. This thing is a giant freaking spider whenever it wants to be. It is sometimes known, if it's too tired, it will just lay down and use its 4 little arms to pull itself along the ground. And funny enough, the wings are actually able to fold underneath it, not just along its side. Fold underneath the wyvern and literally walk like a spider. It is very, very freaky. And also, weirdly enough, it has a spider-like design on its chest. Yeah, and the same thing goes for the last one. It has like a little spider-like design on its side as well. They all have spider-like designs on them. But this one is very freaky because it's more red than others. And it does have the ability to shoot the webbing from its tail, which is weirdly enough the only place it can shoot the webbing from. It is also able to climb trees, and funny enough, it's also a carnivore. Sometimes if I remember the term correctly, cannibal? because these dragons are known to eat. Well, are known to be born in hundreds upon them of them at a time, and only the smaller ones, only the strongest can survive. But once these things get old enough, they don't really eat anything else other than small animals. Because, funny enough, the thing is actually the size of an average wyvern, with a wingspan of only around 20 feet. It's a little bit small. And for the record, to give you an idea, the green sky terror has a total wingspan of, funny enough, 14 feet, so quite small. This dragon's also not as strong as the last one, but it's stronger than the drake. All three of these dragons have the proportional strength of a spider, and they are known to be able to stop a fighter jet going at supersonic speeds, pull it out of the air without breaking a sweat, really. And did I forget to mention that their silk is all strong enough to repel pretty much anything you throw at it. It's actually quite often used in vests, bulletproof vests. Let's get to the last one today, anyways. The last one today is actually a dragon. You heard me right, a dragon. It's known as the Marvelous Arachnid Spidey Dragon, or the Marvelous Spidey Dragon. This thing pulls a Kemimps out of its butthole because it has 4 little limbs on its chest, and they are very similar to how a Kemimps 4 front legs are like a little joint on their stomach with 2 things jutting off of each one. And these things are quite small, for the record. It has 2 way bigger front legs and back legs. It's also known to live in very similar habitats to the amazing spider drake. And although it does actually have a dark blue wing, like the last wyvern, it also has a dark blue jaw and 5 dark spikes that make up something like a mohawk on its head. And the same color goes for the back where the wings are, and the lower jaw. It also has dark blue, turquoise-like blue on the claws of it. This thing has is the strongest out of the 3, and sometimes their scales are strong enough to be compared to that of metal. So yeah, and sometimes their skulls are used to coat in nanobots. Just see that. Imagine a nanomot version of one of these things. Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you, 100 times over. And the first 5 dragons are known to hunt the 3 of them. They have much more success capturing and defeating the first 2, but they have a harder time defeating and or killing the 3rd one, because the 3rd one's a full true dragon. The really only thing that I can think of having a standing a chance against one of these is a hybrid of all those 3. And funny enough, the Sandy Drake is known to team up with all 3 at times, and sometimes all 3 are known to team up together and fight off dragons. Once I remember correctly, all 3 of these dragons all teamed up to fight off those 5 dragons. And turns out that they were working with the octo-armed drake and the Sandy Drake to defeat them. It was quite funny. It was quite an interesting fight too. After that, they all disbanded, and well, I managed to collect some carcasses that day. Yeah, they killed them, because those things were not gonna go down easy. they weirdly enough managed to keep the electric dragon alive. I ran some tests and it turns out they used a paralysis, one of them used a paralysis spell on it. And the thing literally got too much energy in it. It just died. The body is still here. It's always coursing energy. I think it's more or less in a coma. But anyways, that's all for today. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video because that's all the time I got for today. Until next time, subscribe today to join this backwards army or do Muscle Alliance. Goodbye and peace out, everyone.